The gym was great this morning. About to head home, get some food, pack for Mexico tomorrow. Probably gonna like work out, go to the gym in the morning. Later that afternoon, I got a tattoo appointment, so I'm gonna go get a tattoo. And then afterwards, I'm gonna drive down to Oceanside, get a little bite to eat over there, sleep at a rest stop, take a Lyft to the border, get some breakfast, and then check into my room at 12. I don't know if that's going to go exactly according to plan, but stay tuned for that. I guess I have a long way until I get to 100. So after my tattoo appointment, which I really liked by the way, I went down to the gym. Definitely not where I want to be, but I've made a lot of progress. Then from there, I went to go sleep at a rest stop. Woke up at about 4 a.m. and I was really hungry, so I went to go get some food. I was like, you know, I haven't eaten in about 12 hours. So I went to this place over here called Burritos Luna. It's 24 hours. I was like, it's 4 a.m. What am I gonna get to eat at 4 a.m. besides like McDonald's or Jack in the Box? But it's Southern California and there's always food available 24/7. That doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but it's gonna be available. Got some chilaquiles, so I'm not expecting anything like extravagant. Again, this is a 24-hour spot, so they probably get a lot of drunk people really late at night. I would probably appreciate this a lot more if I was drunk. I mean, it probably looks as good as it tastes. Shout out to this spot for having a 24-hour spot. Like, look at that cheese falling off. That's nice. A lot of cheese, not much egg. The salsa's good. I wish I would have put like more sour cream. Well, I'll keep eating it. Oh my gosh, a skunk. I just fucking scared that skunk. Oh my god. So crossing the border was fairly simple. It's a lot easier getting into Mexico than it is getting into the United States. One thing is I did leave really early in the morning at about 6 a.m. There was a lot of homeless people on both sides of the border asking for money. And to be honest, it was pretty sketchy crossing that early in the morning when there were no stores open and not much foot traffic. Despite all that, I still felt relatively safe, but I could definitely see other people feeling uncomfortable. In the future, I wouldn't recommend crossing that early. I would wait until maybe it gets a little lighter or there's maybe more people out and about. Once I was actually in TJ, my Airbnb check-in wasn't even until 12, so I went somewhere, got some really good menudo for breakfast, got some café de olla, which was some of the best café de olla I've ever had. Then took a taxi to the beach to Las Playas de Tijuana, and then I hung out there for a few hours. One thing I realized coming to Tijuana is it's actually not cheap. If you're expecting, to get more bang for your buck than in the United States, that might apply, but the prices were comparable to US prices. For example, I bought like a souvenir shot glass. That was 70 pesos, which is about $4. And I get it, I'm in a touristy area, so prices are going to be a little bit more inflated. But even in some of the downtown areas where I was eating that wasn't considered touristy, the prices were still comparable to US prices. I'm in Mexico. Now I'm in the United States. Now I'm in Mexico. Now I'm in the United States. So before coming to TJ, I had heard a lot of negative things about this city. I wanted to ask some locals if TJ was really as dangerous as people say it is.
Si está bien, puedo hacerle una pregunta para mi video. ¿Sí? Mucha gente me dijo a cuidado aquí en Tijuana.
Oh, yeah.
¿Piensas que es peligroso aquí?
Yeah. In the bar.
In the bars?
Yeah.
¿Por qué?
In the bartender. Los meseros, toda esa gente no buena. No show the money, nothing.
the breakfast of champions. I'm gonna get dressed, or I'm gonna shower, get dressed, and then go get some real breakfast.
A lot of people told me it was dangerous. A lot of the locals said it was dangerous. Then I had a few people explain to me that, again, as long as you stay in the touristy areas, you're by the beach, you're on Calle Revolucion, you're going to be okay. For me, I definitely strayed off of that path. I went to the beach. I was on like the strip, the main strip of touristy things, but I was walking all around TJ. I think like my first day I clocked like 12 miles just because I was walking everywhere, including the non-touristy areas, which when I look back kind of makes sense because I was walking down some streets and it looked pretty sketchy and I was like, I probably shouldn't be walking this way. Let me just, make a little loop and head back this way. I couldn't leave Mexico without getting like some fresh bread. So, oh yeah, it smells so good. It's like lightly sweet, smells like honey. It's soft, doughy, delicious.
So I want to show you guys what I got for about $30 a night in downtown TJ. I was pretty lucky to score this deal. It was a rare find on Airbnb. As you can see, I made myself right at home. The living room is kind of small with a TV, and then you have the kitchen area with a little table. Nothing fancy, but that's all you need. When you make your way into the hallway, to the left is the bedroom. I was actually really impressed. The bed was really soft. It was a very nice bed. Then you got some closet space over here. They have extra blankets and extra pillows if you need it. Then on the other side of the bedroom, they had this little room if you wanted to like do maybe schoolwork or if you wanted to work on stuff. I thought that was really nice. And then the bathroom, got the sink, toilet, and then the shower. The shower, it was about 1.5 feet like step up. It was kind of interesting. You had to step up and it's pretty dark, but it is what it is. Using the toilets in Mexico was definitely interesting. The plumbing is not as good as what we had in the States. So I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I clogged that thing a couple times. It's important to keep in mind too that this is in another country. This is only $30 a night. You're not getting some fancy nice Airbnb. You're getting pretty much basic necessities. For me personally, I was impressed with the location, the price, and all the amenities that they offered.
So it's already been about a week or so since I've been back from Tijuana, and I just wanted to kind of talk a little bit more about my experience. And I recognize not everyone is going to have the same experience when they go to Tijuana. I never felt particularly unsafe when I was in TJ. I did have a prostitute cuss me out when I was ignoring her, but I didn't feel scared, I guess. I had like a homeless dude yell at me, but again, I'm from the greater Seattle area where homeless people yell at you all the time, so that's nothing new, really. But one important thing I did want to talk about is my privilege of walking around like as a man. Like, I recognize that I have a lot of privileges walking around as like a big bulky black dude, where, you know, I am probably not the demographic target for someone who is going to get kidnapped or mugged. You know, being big or tall and black doesn't exclude me from being killed or robbed or involved in a scam. I just recognize the privilege of being a bigger dude where, you know, I felt a little bit more safe. I can imagine a woman walking down the street not having the same experiences that I had. Another thing I wanted to talk about is the femicide. So I wasn't actually aware of this until one of my coworkers brought it up. But there's this femicide that is, you know, that happens, that is going on in Mexico. I had to look into it a little bit. It specifically happens in Juarez, but there's, you know, it happens all around Mexico. And it is the killing of women simply because they're women. So my privilege as a man had an impact on my time in Tijuana. My size and stature had an impact. The fact that people say, like, Tijuana is dangerous, just sometimes there's these blanket statements of certain cities being dangerous. Like, people say, LA is dangerous. Well, there's, like, several parts of LA. You know, there's Inglewood, there's Compton, there's Santa Monica, there's Beverly Hills, there's downtown LA, there's Glendale, there's Pasadena. There's so many different parts of LA. Some can be dangerous, some might not be. And I think it's the same way with TJ. There's areas that you probably want to stay away from, and there's areas that are probably okay. The main strip, the touristy areas, there's a lot of police. There's police like posted like every other block. And I think because they know how touristy it gets, they want to keep that specific area safe so they have money flowing in, which totally makes sense to me. I definitely want to go back to TJ. I had a lot of fun. Right now I'm sober. I haven't drank a drop of alcohol in like 6 months. But I will say it was kind of tempting to go to the bars. The nightlife there is pretty popular. The clubs were popping, the bars were popping. Honestly, it looked like a good time. My taxi driver did warn me about the bars, so I guess that's one thing to be mindful of if you are going to go to the bars. Maybe go in a group. He did talk about how the bartenders will rob you. People will take advantage of you when you're drunk. And he was telling me, like, hey, like, be cautious of your wallet, because, you know, people will try to pickpocket you. And he did talk about, I didn't get this part on camera, but he did say, just telling me to be careful while I'm recording, because people are going to see I have a camera, and they might try to rob me for it. So that was one thing. I did try to be mindful of where I was recording and how I was recording. There was a lot of homeless people, and there was a lot of people like begging for money. And I tried to be mindful about recording them, because part of it, even though they're in a public space, part of it just kind of feels like a little demeaning, like an American coming into someone else's space and recording them. I never really liked when I would watch certain videos about people who would go to like Africa or the Middle East or parts of South America and like record these people and talk about like how poor and cheap their village is. Part of something about that just feels like very demeaning. So I tried to be mindful of that and not record people that were sitting on the streets. That's all I got. That was one thing on my list of 100 things to do this year that I get to cross off. So, I don't know. My next goal, I guess, is... I don't really know what my next goal is, but I'm going to figure it out right now. So, stay tuned.